Ever get that feeling like words could, I don't know, set you free, like really unchain something deep inside?
Hmm. It's amazing how many writers talk about their work that way. Like it's this lifeline, a way to process all those emotions that might be, well, just too much to deal with directly.
Totally. And Aurora Moon McKnight's piece on Medium, What Does Writing Mean to Me? Well, it takes you on that journey. It's not your typical, like, oh, I love to write kind of thing.
Definitely not.
This one's raw, it's visceral. And right from the title, it's my awakening and my unchaining. Whoa!
Yeah,
You just know you're in for something powerful.
it's true. I mean, even just those two words, awakening and unchaining, it's like she's breaking free from something really heavy.
Right, like something's been holding her back.
And that's the question she makes us ask, right?
Mhm.
Like, what are those chains? And she doesn't shy away from how dark it gets. When she says things like starved and slotted for execution, or chained in the dirt, a broken mind, a shattered heart. I mean, those aren't just, words on a page.
Mm.
You feel the weight of that, of lived experience.
You can, yeah. It's heavy, like this feeling of being trapped. But then she flips the whole thing when she starts talking about writing, and suddenly writing is her warrior, her shield, even a path blazed upon her heart.
Exactly. And that's where this whole idea of transformation really comes in. It's not just, oh, writing helps her cope. It's more like writing gives her the power to fight back,
Yeah.
to create her own path forward.
Yeah.
And that imagery, it elevates writing. It's not just a hobby anymore. It's something much bigger.
Way bigger. It's like this force of resilience of her discovering herself. And that contrast, between the darkness at the beginning and then the strength she finds in writing, it just draws you in.
It makes you want to figure out, like, what was it about writing that let her make that shift? How did she find that strength?
Totally. And she does that partly with these crazy, vivid metaphors, right? Like when she talks about her heart as this origami heart filled with all these different stories.
Ah, that's such a striking image, isn't it?
It really is.
Because it gets at this idea that we're all made up of these hidden depths. Like we have all these layers to ourselves that we might not even know about.
Oh, for sure.
And for McKnight, writing is how she unfolds those layers, how she figures them out.
Yeah. And the way she describes those stories inside, like maidens with jeweled scales and knights in tinfoil armor battling paper dragons. I mean, come on.
It's incredible.
It's playful, it's imaginative, but there's this feeling too, right? Like this longing, this search for something. It makes you think about the stories we all carry inside, right?
It's true.
The ones that might stay hidden, even from ourselves, until we find a way to bring them to life.
That's the magic of metaphor, isn't it?
Totally.
It gives us this language to express those deeper, sometimes even subconscious feelings. Like when McKnight says she couldn't say what she meant before she found writing.
Wow.
It's like she had all these feelings trapped inside.
And writing became the key to unlock them.
Exactly. A lot of people who've gone through trauma or just hard times, they talk about how hard it is to put those feelings into words.
It's like the words just aren't enough.
Exactly.
And that's where those metaphors become so powerful. Like, I can picture those maidens with jeweled scales, and immediately I get a sense of this hidden strength and beauty. Even if my own experiences are totally different, the feeling still resonates.
Right. And that's the mark of a skilled writer, being able to tap into those universal emotions, those shared human experiences, and make them relatable. It makes you realize you're not alone in what you're feeling.
It's like writing becomes this bridge, connecting us not just to our own inner world, but to the experiences of others.
And that connection, that feeling of being seen and understood, it can be incredibly healing.
There's this other part of the article I wanted to touch on. McKnight talks about her readers and how much their support means to her. She says, every story you read has a positive impact on a struggling writer.
It's almost like she's acknowledging the responsibility that comes with sharing your work. The vulnerability it takes to put your heart out there, but also the incredible power of that connection.
It's like a reminder that even the simple act of reading can have a ripple effect, that we're all part of this creative ecosystem supporting each other's growth.
Absolutely. Putting your work out there can be scary, but it also creates this opportunity for connection and growth. And who knows? Your story might be the one that sparks something in someone else that gives them permission to tell their own story.
And that brings us back to this idea of writing as a form of liberation, not just for the writer, but potentially for the reader as well. It's kind of inspiring when you think about it. McKnight, she refuses to let those tough times, define her.
Yeah, totally.
She owns her story, all the good and bad, and it's like, in doing that, she takes back her power.
That's that transformative thing about writing, right? It's not about erasing the hard parts of your past or anything. It's more about deciding how you're going to move forward.
Right, exactly.
Like, how did she put it? Oh, yeah, there was a time when there was no one coming for me. But with writing, she becomes her own, like, rescuer.
Wow. Yeah, and that's such a powerful message for anyone who's like struggling, feeling lost, or alone, especially. Like, you've got the power to change your own story, to find your voice, even when it feels impossible.
And sometimes those ways we find ourselves, they come from the most random spots.
Totally.
For McKnight, it was writing. A blank page, those empty lines, just waiting for her truth.
It really makes you think.
It does, doesn't it? Makes you wonder, what could be your way to unchain and awaken? What's going to unlock it for you?
It's a great question. And as we resurface from this deep dive into Aurora Moon McKnight's world, that's what we're left with. What stories are hidden inside you? And could it be writing or maybe something else creative that finally sets them free?
Maybe it's time to find out.
Maybe it is. Pick up a pen, open that blank page. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.